Hey everyone, we wanted to let you know that this episode is the beginning of a monthly giveaway that we're doing with ABACO polarized sunglasses. So if you stay tuned to the end of the episode, we'll give you more details on how you could win your own pair. Last time on MJ Sailing, we made our way through the Whale Key Cut to continue our route south in the Sea of Abaco. And waited out a nasty cold front in Marsh Harbor. As soon as the strong winds let up in Marsh Harbor, we left to make our way to our next destination of Hopetown, which was about an 8-mile sail away. With no winds and no working headsail to push us along though, it was a calm motor through overcast skies. Plotting our course around reefs and beautifully hued shoals, we soon rounded our corner south and were greeted with the sight of the Elbow Reef Lighthouse and our anchorage for the night. Today we finally decided to move ourselves out of Marsh Harbor after we had been sitting there for probably close to a week because of all of the weather that was moving down the east coast and then right into us on the Bahamas. So while we had to wait out all of these blows, we just kind of sat where we knew it was protected and where we could shuttle ourselves to town. And now winds have died and we are free again. So this morning we upped anchor from Marsh Harbor, and even though the winds aren't as bad as they were, we still have, unfortunately, a week of clouds and rain ahead of us. And also, unfortunately, partially due to laziness and partially due to the weather, I still have not dropped the headsail yet to fix that tear in it. And I guess it really didn't matter so much for our trip over to Elbow Key today and Hopetown. If you can see the lighthouse behind me here. We had winds on the nose pretty much until we were at the anchorage, which is, I don't know, 5 miles away, so not a very long trip at all. But through the rain here this week, we are going to still try and get to town, check out the lighthouse. We keep hearing really great things about Hopetown, so I think this is going to be a mix of trying to go see town, not get rained on, and get a few more things done on the boat.
Seemed like great weather to replace the outboard oil on the lower unit. Something that we had been waiting for, hadn't done yet on our little 3.3 horsepower. We had planned originally to use the 10 horsepower that we bought. Unfortunately, when I pulled off the lower unit on the 10 horsepower motor to replace the oil seal, when I put it back together, I thought I had to have it in reverse to engage it. And it seems like actually I needed to be in forward when I put the lower unit back on. So now when you go to start it, it starts off in forward. There's no neutral or reverse position, and I haven't had the time to pull off that lower leg yet on the 10 horsepower. So we've been using our trusty 3.3 that actually gets us up on plane. So back to using our 3.3, we needed to change the oil in the drivetrain. We hadn't done that before we left because we really didn't think we were going to be using this one at that time, so now was really a good time to do it. Pulled it off, drained it, put new stuff in. That was about the extent of it. But the big thing with this lightweight dinghy is the fact that I'm, again, able to raise and lower it myself. Doesn't really need any help from Jessica. The dinghy itself weighs about 55 pounds. The outboard weighs 27 pounds, just an extremely lightweight combo that works really well for us right now.
Having landed in the same anchorage as our friend Jamel from Indiantown, we decided to go in for a night of trivia at Captain Jack's, but not before making a run out to the beach on the north side of Elbow Key. Apparently, a Westsail 32 had ended up on the shore the night before and was still lodged in the sand. Jamel had been able to gather a few facts from a friend who came upon the wreck that morning and found out it was 2 men and 2 dogs that had been traveling up from Puerto Rico to St. Augustine. The duo had run into some bad weather with all the cold fronts running down the coast, and also lost power to both the engine and electronics. We knew the boat landed on shore after dark, and all occupants were able to walk off without injury. Jamel told us he also heard this boat had just suffered through Hurricane Maria down in Puerto Rico, and the owner assessed that there was too much damage to the boat between the 2 incidents and planned to leave it for salvage. Inspecting the boat, we found that multiple lines were wrapped around the prop and rudder, and had to assume that the loss of steerage had something to do with the wreck. If there is one thing we heard we had to do while in the ABACOs, it was to go see the lighthouse shining over Hopetown on Elbow Key. A staple to many postcard-esque photos from this set of islands, the Elbow Reef Lighthouse has also earned its place in history as the last kerosene-burning lighthouse in the world. It is manually operated, and with a lighthouse keeper living on grounds, the light must be manually cranked every 2 hours to keep it running.
The pen doesn't work.
Round 2.
We're going black. All signed.
It was built in the 1860s by the British Imperial Lighthouse Service to mark the numerous reefs that line the island. Much to the dismay of the locals, though. Many inhabitants of the island at the time made their living from salvaging the various boats that ended up on their shores. Many attempts of sabotage were made to keep this lighthouse from going up, including sinking a barge that was transporting building materials. As we made our way up the 101 steps of this red and white candy-striped tower, painted those colors to be used as a day marker for seafarers, we crawled out the tiny door to the platform and the breathtaking views from the top. 120 feet above sea level, we could clearly make out all the boats moored in the harbor and the breaking waves crashing over the reefs offshore. Looking to the north beach of Elbow Key, we even spied the mast of Ellipsis sitting in the sand. In the other direction, where Elements was anchored, the combination of grassy and sandy bottoms in the water made for a beautiful mosaic of turquoise and blues.
Well, I think my body is now accustomed to like 60-degree temperature. So we had a week straight of it, rain, high winds, and now the sun is out and I'm feeling the effects.
Yeah.
I'll probably be all peeling soon from sunburns. And
Next to the primary school, we found signs of the Big Hill Boxcart Derby that takes place every November. With categories for juniors and seniors, participants hurl themselves 800 meters down Big Hill on Queens Highway and have reached speeds of 25 miles per hour in the past. After wandering up and down the extremely scenic streets of Hopetown, I spied a large resort from the road with the promise of a poolside bar and great Atlantic Ocean views. Even though we had cold Coronas waiting for us back at the boat upon return, the views were something I didn't want to miss out on, and soon we were wandering the picturesque complex to find them. Passing through the Reef Bar and Grill to the steps leading us to the beach, we once more had our breath taken away by the postcard perfect views in every direction we looked.
Screw living on a boat. I want to live right here. This is beautiful.
Amazing. Absolutely stunning. Everything. Oh, look at that reef. No wonder they call it the Reef Bar. Everything crashing around here. After leaving the Harbour Lodge, we wandered back to the beach we had been at the day before to check on Ellipsis again, and found our owner there this time, removing personal belongings from the boat. After talking to him for a few minutes, he told us he was tired of all the hearsay that was going along with how his boat ended up where it was, and wanted the chance to tell his story personally. What he told us is that somewhere southeast of the Bahamas, they had run into a storm and were being pushed west toward the ABACOs. Not being able to clear the islands, they spent 2 days trying to claw off the lee shore before eventually running out of sea room. The engine had died a few days before, although we didn't get a reason why, and their Cape Horn wind vane broke, forcing them to hand steer for 4 days. He could see the lighthouse of Hopetown and made it through the northern part of the island, where he tried anchoring until daylight to make it the rest of the way around. Because of the high wind and waves, the anchor road parted and they were swept around the east side of the island between the reef and the beach. The lines in the water and around the prop were from them trying to catch a coral head to stop from running on the beach. In the end, the lines wrapped around the prop and the rudder, and there was nothing they could do but hold on until they washed ashore. He did confirm that he was not going to try and save the boat, as there was a large crack on the hull of the port side, about 3 feet long, that had been letting in water and flooded the interior. Crazy and spectacular day today in Hopetown / Elbow Key. Went to the lighthouse today, which I had really been looking forward to. Spectacular views everywhere, looking out at the Sea of ABACO side where we're anchored here at the Elements, looking out over the breakwaters, and then just wandering the streets. I had heard before that Hopetown is like really picturesque. I had thought it would be really resorty and kind of fake, but it's really awesome. It's kind of like a summer cottage area, maybe in the Hamptons or Cape Cod. Beautiful buildings, really cool feel, so we had a great time just wandering around today.
Kind of reminded me of Bermuda.
Yeah, it kind of reminded us of Bermuda a little bit. Not quite as expensive, but nearly. And so we were walking and decided to take another stroll out to the beach today to check on Ellipsis. And it turns out the owner was there, so we were able to kind of talk to him a little bit, get more of the full story. So yeah, so back to the boat now. Got our Coronas. Pretty cool sunset behind us. Storms are rolling in, so I'm enjoying like the last bit of outside weather again in case we get another 2 or 3 days of rain. So yeah, today, fantastic day. Have to do this again sometime. Join us for our next episode of MJ Sailing, where we discipline ourselves to do a few projects on the boat and get back to sailing Elements once more after repairing our blown out headsail. We have partnered up with ABACO polarized sunglasses. If you've seen any of the episodes of us since we left Indiantown, we've pretty much been living in our sunglasses through them and absolutely loving them. They're great for on the water. Polarized lenses helps you see so much. These are my Kais with the fire mirror lens, which I absolutely love. And so right now we're going to be doing a monthly giveaway with them. To enter the contest, all you have to do is leave a comment below in this video, and 1 week after the video publishes, and we'll make sure to leave the exact date and time in the description below, we will go ahead and pull a winner and contact you through personal message. Only one comment per person will go towards the contest, and then you'll get a promotional code to go ahead and shop the website, free shipping in the US, although if you live outside the United States, that would be your responsibility. But otherwise, yeah, we're excited to start doing this every month, so stay tuned for the first video of every month where we'll continue to do these giveaways.